now. Okay. Connie, would you give us our opening prayer, please?
Let's pray together, everyone. Loving Creator, we come together today to discuss things that we will be talking about at our congregational meeting later this month. We ask that we have open eyes, open ears, and open hearts as we listen to what has been brought to the attention of everyone prior to this time that will be presented today. We ask blessings on everyone here, on our church, and we ask that you guide us in the direction that is your will. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So first of all, thank everybody for being here. Scotty, did you want to go over any of the items, tech items, so everybody will know how to vote?
Okay, give me just a second. Are you sharing your screen? Can you unshare your screen, Marcia?
Yes. Lisa?
Yes.
For the actual meeting, you might have to sign in separately.
Could we, can we just put first name and yay or nay? Connie, yay, Lisa, yay, and have two votes, two different texts at doing that?
Well, it shows up, the way we're going to be voting is with our reactions on our computers.
All my devices sign in as Connie.
Are we voting today, Marcia?
No, we're not voting today.
So we'll create it for the next time to be able to vote separately, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So I had a real simple, just sort of getting together time. Most everybody who showed up were pretty familiar with Zoom, so that was handy. But I do want to offer, just as a caveat, I want to offer ongoing support as we get near our congregational meeting. So if you're talking to people and they go, oh, I really don't have Zoom, I don't know Zoom, I don't understand my camera, I don't know how to get on. If you'll just send them to me, you can send them to my repscotty1985@gmail. 1985 was the year I was licensed in the ministry. So repscotty@1985 at gmail.com. I will help them get Zoom on their devices, get online, that sort of thing. So for today, we just wanted to show you, Marcia was telling me she wanted you guys to know how to say yes and how to say no, even though we're not voting. So some of you have at the bottom, if you roll your mouse, you'll see a toolbar will pop up. And there's one on the far right called reactions. If you'll click reactions, you shall see anywhere from 2 to 6 different things. We really are only interested in the 2, right? That is going to be a yes. If you could all click that for me.
Thumbs up is a yes.
And it will go off after a few minutes by itself. Jennifer, can you do it?
Oh yeah, I already did it, but I only have 2. I don't have a no.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Unfortunately, and Mike, you did it. Franklin, do you have yours?
I'm not sure. Oh.
Perfect. Okay. So next to it is looks like applause or hands clapping. That for those of you who only have 2, we're using that as a no.
Okay.
Okay. So there's just that's really the only 2. So there are some of us who have up to 6. I mean, we have all kinds of things. Oddly, there's no thumbs down. So we're just still this is yes, this is no. And Pastor Marcia, the other thing I was thinking is if they want to raise their hand, can they use the applause for that? If we're not talking about an actual vote, but people want to just put a hand up, is that all right?
That'll be fine. Or they can put something in the chat too. I'm gonna go over that.
That's gonna be the next thing. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go, Franklin. We see it.
You see it?
Yes. So
Okay.
then the next thing would be to we're going to do something in the chat box. So if you roll your toolbar, you'll see that there's says chat. For those of you who are on computer, chat, little bubble. click that, it'll open up a chat window. For those of you, I believe on iPad will be this way too, but well, iPad actually, Connie, are you on iPad?
Yes, yes.
Okay, where is your chat function? Is it like a menu?
Under more.
If you look up to the top right-hand corner of the screen, there's 3 dots that say more. You click on that and then you'll see chat and touch it.
So with a phone, it's different. It's at the bottom on the right.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Okay, so if everybody can pull up chat, I know the phone users will no longer be able to look at us. I think maybe iPad too, but it should default to everybody. You should see just above the part where we're supposed to chat, it should say everyone.
Yep.
Just type your name in there.
Just type your name.
There you go. Oh, look there. How you doing? That's good. Franklin, awesome. Carol, are you gonna type in? All right, perfect. Okay, so now we're all gonna chat to Sandy. So if you'll click on everyone, there's a little arrow, down arrow next to the word everyone. It'll open up the menu of everybody that's in the session.
Ah,
So we are going to go to where it says Sandy, and we're all gonna say hi to Sandy. And none of us are gonna see that hi, only Sandy is. And that's what's gonna happen on the day that we have the congregational meeting. When everybody signs in, they'll be signing in directly to Sandy and giving her an updated address if needed, correct?
Mhm.
So that should give you the ability. So once you're done with that, go ahead and click the down button again and change it back to everyone. And then I'm going to be monitoring the chat. So if you have a question and you're not being recognized and we're on share screen, because that's another thing I want to go over you real quick, was what happens to the grid during share screen? We start getting a whole lot of people. It's hard to see everybody. So, but just typing for everyone, just to make sure you're here. Let's do one last little thing to everyone that basically says, I'm here, thumbs up, hi, wave, whatever. I don't know, you can do that on the, or just a letter or whatever, just to let you know you're back on everyone. Okay. Awesome. Yep.
I haven't, what?
Getting good at this is going to really help if you've got a question and you're not being acknowledged, and especially when we're dealing with stuff where we have a legal, I mean, the decisions that we make in the congregational meeting are legal issues.
Mhm.
So we want to make sure that you guys are being seen and heard completely. Franklin, you there? Oh, you did. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So the last thing, let's talk about the how to see everybody. So Marcia, if you'll share your screen,
Okay,
please.
all right.
It might be different on phones. On a phone, if you want to see everybody like this, can you see me? Can you
Swipe.
see the phone? Yes. You literally are just gonna swipe.
Yep.
See everyone, right? That's all you have to do. If you can see clearly.
Yep.
On a computer though, you're gonna have this grid
That's
thing.
the same thing on an iPad.
Yeah, same. That's right. Same thing on iPad. So it's easier for those for the folks that are not. If you're on a computer, you're going to have the option of expanding the grid. So basically, what you're going to do, if you look at the bottom of the list, you want, or well, actually, I'm sorry, at the top. You want to first make sure that you should have like a line for minimize. You should have a single box. You'll have 2 boxes above it. So 2 boxes above it will be a grid for seeing people, seeing a whole list of people, the grid of people, right? That should be the only options you have. Am I correct about that? Okay, then at the very bottom, there's an arrow. You'll click that arrow and you can go up and down the list like that. That's the only way that as a participant that you can see everyone. Okay, if that makes all sense. So if you're wanting to see how someone is doing or whatever, you just click the up and down. Do you see where I'm what I'm talking about? The down, for those who are on the computer? Say something, somebody.
I just expanded my screen so I could see everybody.
I'm on the phone.
Oh, did you click, do you have a grid on yours? It looks like a whole bunch of
Yeah.
boxes, like.
It's on a grid and I had the arrows, but
Okay,
I
if you've got that, you can do that too.
backed
You
it
can,
and made it bigger.
yes, you can do that too. But
Mike,
um,
Mike has a question.
I was raising my hand, but I unraised it. Sorry.
oh, okay, no problem. Okay, so that's the main thing. So if you guys want to be able to see each other and I just want you to feel comfortable with being able to watch your neighbors, so to speak. Okay, so that's it for me, I guess. And of course, if you need anything. let me-
Carol has a question.
Carol's
You're on
muted.
mute, Carol. Okay.
Down. Oh, there you go.
Lisa, while we're waiting, I did not receive anything. I looked through everything. I looked in my spam file and everything. I didn't get anything.
Okay, thank
I did
Trisha.
get Connie's, but
Trisha,
Thanks,
how did
Betty.
you sign unmute?
Oh, we can listen on the computer instead of on the phone.
Did you hear?
Okay.
Carol is on mute because we don't want to get feedback. She's literally sitting right next to me. So when it's her turn to talk, she'll unmute and I'll go on mute.
Okay.
So one last thing I want to ask you guys, if you go to the far left of the grid that has all of our pictures on it, do you have a box that has a little like picture in picture looking thing? It's like a square that has a little square in the upper left.
Mhm.
They can't
Yes.
see.
Particularly for people like Trisha, if you click that, it will swap the screen from the document that's being shared to the person who's speaking.
Oh. Fancy.
So that'll be really helpful if you're having a hard time, if you need to read lips and you've seen that, you can click back and forth between that. Trisha, you got me on that one? So that's all I have.
That was Mark Anthony.
There you go, though. All these things that you tried.
Are we ready to resume?
Resume.
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing that we will have, this is going to be open forum, and we just need to recognize you if you have a question about the presentations. We'll be looking at the proposed bylaws first, then at our January to September financial statements. And lastly, we'll take a look at the 2021 budget. Carol and Mike are part of the team who looked at the bylaws. And so they'll be making their presentation first. And so you'll have to share your screen.
On the very bottom here, Mike and Mark were both part of this, and they read extensively. Both your faces.
So you have to unmute.
Yeah, you're muffled. Sorry about that.
I wasn't ready yet.
Sparks wasn't ready yet. Sorry about that. We're right next to each other. So I put in at the bottom of this. Mike and Mark both were part of reading, endless reading of both the UFMCC and Exodus MCC bylaws. Make sure that we were pretty much in spirit and in verbiage in line with each other. All the, how shall I say, all the baby churches have to be basically in spirit and in verbiage the same thing as the UFMCC bylaws. And between the two of them, I wasn't anywhere near as active in that part as they were. Between the two of them, they figured out that pretty much we were in line, except for a couple of places. We were perfectly in line and in compliance with UFMCC bylaws. So the board pretty much, and Pastor Marcia, came up with some suggestions, if you will, for modifications. And these suggestions are a result of practical ramifications of changes in church size. This down here again. And a change in the desire of the board to more accurately reflect its purpose as one of service rather than directorship, and an effort to clarify a couple of spots where there were questions about the bylaws. Can everybody see this now?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll just go through, it's kind of dry, sorry about that. Article 4 states a criteria for membership. And under that, there's no mention made for membership transfer from one MCC to the next. So the suggestion was made, the addition to the existing paragraph, membership transfer request from another MCC shall be accompanied by a letter of membership confirmation from the clerk of the board of said previous MCC. Anytime questions?
Yes, please.
Ms. Connie?
We have in the past had members go from MCC to another church. I'm wondering if this shouldn't include MCC and other churches, so it's inclusive of any church that an MCC, a person of our denomination, would want to transfer to. We've been asked for transfer letters from several different other congregations other than MCC. Just for thought. Just for thought.
Yeah, no,
Isn't this criteria for membership at Exodus MCC?
yeah, it's part of the Exodus bylaws, yes, so.
So if someone is joining the church for the first time from another, a different church that is outside of the denomination, that's not an MCC, I think that we wouldn't have to have a letter from that particular denomination unless they want to furnish one.
Okay. I was thinking that. I was thinking the opposite of that.
Okay.
Member of MCC, Exodus MCC, transfers to another congregation that's non-MCC.
Okay.
So just for us to think about, nothing that I'm pushing for, just conversation, please.
Okay.
I think I misunderstood then.
Yep, I didn't make it clear. Sorry.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's a section in the bylaws that says membership requests specifically, which would be that if someone goes to another congregation, be it inside MCC or outside of MCC, they have the right to request a letter from Exodus MCC. It won't be a membership transfer because if they're outside of MCC, that's not going to transfer.
Yeah, it's we've just been asked for those in the past. It's not.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Did you see Tricia said that? And there is a people can hold dual membership.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, and should that membership request for going out, should that more properly be part of the SOPs? Or should that be part of the bylaws? I'm asking, I don't know.
Well, I would think it would be, since, okay, if it's within the denomination of MCC,
Mhm. That's bylaws.
that's bylaws. If it's outside, that can be an SOP or a personal request. I mean, usually I don't know anybody that does that.
Okay,
So evidently somebody, because Connie brought it up, somebody has done that here.
okay, then when we do SOPs, could we just remember to include that? The other is
Yeah.
fine. Okay, good. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Can you mute yourself and turn the sound off on the computer? I can turn the sound off on the computer, but I need you to mute it. Mute yourself. I actually have a question about this real quick. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can't hear you now.
Okay. You are not. Okay, sorry, this is kind of a hassle over here. I have a quick question that's related to this. If the member is a member of another church in the city, and they're on a board of that church, and on the board of our church, is that acceptable? Or is that just like another issue, or, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe it doesn't need an answer today, but since this is a forum about that, I think membership is something that's important that we sort of build parameter around myself. But anyway, that is something that concerns me whenever that we have dual membership, that if somebody's on a board in both places, I don't know if that's counter to what we're doing. People are on in nonprofits all the time on different boards and that sort of thing. So I'm not sure it's an issue, but I did want to bring that up as kind of part of this forum. That's all.
Shoot.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Do we want to talk about that here now? That might be, that also might be addressed in the SOPs dealing with board membership, which is out, this is overall membership. And you might want to have something in the SOPs which state, like you do already, can't miss so many meetings, you can't do this and something else. Because people do become on other nonprofit boards. And as long as they can fulfill their obligations all the way around. And sometimes it works to the church's interest for church members to be on different boards.
I don't see any issue with it.
It could be included in SOPs and not in the bylaws, it seems like.
I mean, we've already stated that we, are not going to tolerate behavior that is disloyal or unsupportive or libelous. All of that could be addressed if there's an occasion to address it.
Right. Okay.
We're good.
Okay, ready to move on to the next one? Okay. Article 4B, subsection 1, says the original text reads, the list of friends of the church shall be maintained by the board. The proposed modification is a little more specific. List of friends of the church shall be maintained by the clerk of the board. Questions or yay, nay?
Yay.
Franklin?
Well, she already has a membership. She might as well have the whole, everything there.
The
one
list of
spot.
friends as well. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, it's not that many, but it's not like we're giving her 500 people or something.
that would be the computer's job.
Just need to define maintenance or
Yeah.
maintain. What
Yeah.
does that? You see a disciplinarian or a bookkeeper?
Bookkeeper, yes.
Bookkeeper.
Yeah. Legally, the clerk of the board is the keeper of all documents.
And church historian.
Yes. So you would think that the clerk of the board would have that information or know where to get it. That's the biggest thing. Because if we had an office, in the office, let's say office volunteer, who would be checking, who can be delegated to check off who's at church, things of that type of nature, update the membership list. But it is the clerk's responsibility to ensure that those things get done, that they're done.
Comments, additions? Mike, was that an addition that you wanted?
No, I guess I just wanted us to say what maintenance meant.
Okay,
She's going to be responsible for the list. She's not going to be knocking people out of church she doesn't like. Or you're not on the list.
that might be an important distinction considering who might be the clerk, right? So,
Don't make the clerk mad.
right? Boom.
Mm.
Okay, so Article 6A, the local church administrative body shall be the board of directors. So the board voted on a name change, which is now the board of servants. So this is going to have to be reflected throughout the bylaws in an overall rewrite. And the proposed modification of this specific phrase is the local church administrative body shall be the board of servants. This is not the only place where this shows up. It shows up throughout the bylaws, which means that the entire bylaws will have to be rephrased around that one phrase. So questions or any questions about that specific thing?
Can we change that second line? It says on a name change to the Board of Servants instead of chance.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am. I don't know if I can change this. I can't change this while it's in there, but yes. Yeah.
Did we skip Article 5, 3B?
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. I'm sorry. So Article 5, 3B, subset C. The original verbiage says the church cannot condone disloyalty. And we had some discussion about what disloyalty meant, that one word. And we thought it might be a little bit broad and subject to interpretation that might be a little more personal than it needed to be. So we threw in a couple of suggestions. The church cannot condone disloyalty. Example, unsupportive, libelous, subversive behaviors.
Very good.
Suggestions, comments, anything like that?
I don't have anything.
Good.
I have a question on that. Would it be in the SOPs or would it be up to the pastor? What would happen if those things happened? I mean, what are the consequences? I don't understand why it's in our bylaws.
The bylaws has an entire, let's see, 5A.
yeah, entire section, isn't it?
The bylaws has an entire section that talks about ramifications of
Oh, okay, so it's in
behavior.
there.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we did not change that. It's
pastor, board, and regular congregants can be, how shall I say, disciplined by the pastor and the board. And that can be taken up in front of the congregation. That can also be appealed and taken before the congregation. That's directly out of UFMCC's bylaws, and it's in compliance with that. The other thing UFMCC bylaws say is that specific small churches, according to their proximity to the greater church, and depending where they are in the country, are, if they wish to change something substantial in their bylaws, can petition for specific verbiage that changes the spirit of, not just the verbiage, but the spirit of the bylaws. If we want to change something in our bylaws substantially that is not in compliance with the spirit of the UFMCC's bylaws, we can come up with verbiage that the church agrees upon, and that would be something that the congregational meeting sets out that's agreed upon. We can set that up as an appeal to UFMCC and send them in written form. We can send them that appeal. So if there's something in the bylaws that the congregation does not like and want to change substantially, we can appeal that. We can appeal that to UFMCC.
That would be me.
You have a little more detail on that, Mike?
What?
I think we'll be down in membership. You already have it out there.
I'm in 4.
Mhm.
Article 4 is where I want to make, we're suggesting a change.
Okay. I don't see 4.
4,
So you
Is it
jump
on-
down.
my
is it
suggestion is in 4A.
Do you have it on the list?
No, I texted you about that this morning.
It's not here.
It's not in this, what's being shown on the screen right now.
Okay.
I
Okay.
wanted to discuss this at least.
Okay, so we need to add 4A.
Okay.
Criteria for membership.
Right. Since we're in this area of talking about membership, before we go on, Mike, can you read the actual verbiage for the bylaw?
Okay, the bylaw states, Article 4A, criteria for membership. Any baptized Christian may become a member by participating in the rite of membership. The new members will attend a membership class to become acquainted with the governments and workings of the church. A member in good standing is a member who registers his or her attendance, provides identifiable financial support, makes a definite service contribution, and demonstrates interest and loyalty. Okay. My issue, and this is only a suggestion, that we consider rewording baptized Christian. Okay, and what I suggested in my text this morning, let me get back here. Where'd you go, Marcia? Okay. Recommended that it be changed to, instead of baptized Christian, a recognized seeker through expressed interest and involvement of this body. My issue is that we state that we are open to people who might not believe exactly as we do. And that we are open to people who are seeking. And so I feel that this is an exclusionary statement, that you are baptized and a Christian before you're considered for membership. And I think we need to discuss that.
Okay.
Because essentially what we're saying is that unless you are baptized and professed as a Christian, that you cannot participate in the workings of the church. We'll take your money, we'll take your attendance, but you are not fully a member of this body. And I think there's some issues with that.
Okay. The floor is open for discussion.
And again, this is up for discussion.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that's occurred to me based on other things that we've expressed recently about being open to other types of believers and what we want the body to be. This sounds exclusionary to me.
I agree with you, Mike. You know, we've had members before that were from different, like, we've had Jewish members before.
Anyone else?
Has there ever been anybody that has knowledge of a congregation that might have broadened that definition to be more inclusive?
I have contacted one and I haven't received anything back from that congregation, from that pastor of that congregation. And I also know that of a congregation that has allowed membership for individual who I would classify as a seeker because they go to the mosque and they go to the temple, the Buddhist temple, and they come to the Christian church. And they are a member of that church.
So the church I come from, we have Wiccans who are members of that church. They tithe, they attend regularly. I'm a Christian / Taoist. So, and we have people who profess to be atheists and yet at my old church, and yet are full-on members of that church who tithe, who attend regularly, who support the mission of the church, which is in that little place in Guerneville is social justice. And they have not changed their bylaws. They kind of slip around them rather than deal with changing the bylaws. That's how they've gotten around that.
We've had Jewish people become members.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Were they baptized?
No.
They were, the
They
one
didn't-
I'm aware of was previously baptized, I believe.
We could word it so that it would state that we practice the basic tenets of Christianity. I mean, we could come up with some wording like that to acknowledge the historical basis of our faith and why we're there.
Right, we would have to. This is under appeal.
But be more inclusive, because it sounds very exclusive that those two characters, baptized and Christian, I mean, other than that, there's no place. for someone that might not fully be where we are right now?
Could it be Christian, baptized Christians or seekers? Where you put an or in there?
Or
So I'm just going to put this out here. Whatever we come up with, if we change this substantially, we're going to have to make an appeal to
right.
the UFMCC powers that be.
Can
Now,
I say something? The fundamentalist Christian in me is just crawling out of her skin right now. I'm really having a hard time with that just because of my fundamentalist brain. But in our communion, we say, this table is open to all. This table, you do not have to be a member of this church or any church. You do not have to know Christ, only come seeking. So, sorry, I don't know why I'm choked up. I do believe that we need to change that wording because I know a bunch of fundamentalist people are going to say you cannot be part of this if you're not this. We do have to change it. I really believe that fundamentally. I love the word seeker. I think that that's great. And I don't know how everybody feels about the whole baptism thing. For me, growing up Mormon, baptism is a huge thing for me, but it might not be for everybody. And it is true. We do have Jewish people. And what if we have a Muslim person come in that is only seeking to do the will of the church at large? That's just my 2 cents.
some years back, the denomination had to wrestle with this word. And it was at one of the conferences that a bylaw change came to remove the word baptized Christian, baptized from the bylaws. And at that time, there were those who weren't ready to move past that requirement that you must be baptized. I think if it were to come up now, that it would pass to remove the word, because now we have a deeper understanding of who God is.
Mm-hmm.
God means different things to different people. And it's almost like stepping on people's belief. If they're not baptized, then you can't be a part of us, even though we share the same attitude, the same beliefs about humanity, and want to do the same work. And do we, the bigger question is, do we want to open up the table to allow membership for those who weren't growing up baptized Christians? That they were Jewish, that they are Muslim or Buddhist or any other of the world religions. I think when you give people the choice to be baptized, they can make that choice. And we can still use the word baptized in our membership by saying they may be a baptized Christian or a seeker. of knowledge, or however you want to put it, of humanity, whatever, of spirituality. I think that's where, and that's probably a lesson about the difference between spirituality and religion.
Yeah, that's
Can
true.
Can I suggest that we table this because we can't do anything about it for this particular thing for the congregational meeting?
Yeah, I mean, this is just discussion.
Because it's, well, yeah, but it's a big discussion and it's a good one. No, really, it is, because if we want to change our bylaws like that, we have to request up there. But I think it's I happen to agree with it. I would like to change that.
And this is
we
one
can't do that before the congregational meeting because we've got to request up and all that.
right. Well, but this is one of the things that can be presented at the congregational meeting for further study,
Yes.
discernment. That we don't have to vote to change it, but say, how do we feel about this word? For some people, it means a lot.
Mhm.
It really means a lot. But does that mean that that is something that you're willing to enforce on other people? So there could be the bylaws today. You could say, we will tackle this. If you have comments, please submit them. Or let's have a discussion. I think that'd be a wonderful hump day discussion.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that discussion would be outside of the congregational meeting
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
would be open to whomever wanted to come.
Yes.
And we could get a variety of people, and some that don't participate right now may come to something like that because there may be more interest there in that
Congregational meeting.
type of change. So
We can
if it's
talk about
presented at congregational meeting, people will have knowledge of it, and then follow up, as you're saying, with a time for discussion and conversation.
So to the bylaws team, I would suggest you go through everything that you definitely have suggestions for with the congregational meeting. And then introduce the change of to membership about the word baptized. And that you will be further study of it and want congregational input, and let them know that. Because that might be a real biggie, as Sandy said.
Oh, it'll be huge. It'll be real big. You can guarantee it.
Mhm. And I don't think we're going to be the only one who has changed the bylaws like that.
No.
Well, I think my whole thing is that, we need to at least start talking about it.
Okay.
Well, we can talk some about it on Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so where do we leave off at? Disloyalty? Oh, Board of Servants.
Yep. We're on 6D.
6B.
D.
I need to be unmuted. Thank you. Okay, 6D. Okay. So this 6D refers to the Board of Servants. And it's a change in number, which reflects the change in the size of our church. The original reading is there shall be 7 members, including the pastor. The proposed modification is there'll be 5 members, including the pastor. Article 60 again refers to the Board of Servants. Terms of office for members shall be the original verbiage. Term of office for members shall be 2 years.
Carol?
Staggered term. Yes.
Please ask if there are any questions about 6D.
I'm sorry. Questions about 6D or comments?
So that means you would reduce the board of servants down to 5.
Including the pastor, yes.
So
So
2
there
people,
would only be 4 board members and the pastor,
Yes, sir.
how many are there now?
6.
You have 7 official board members.
7 official board members.
7. So 2 of them would have to volunteer to,
Well, we have 2 positions open as it stands now.
so you wouldn't fill those 2 positions. More or less, you wouldn't fill the,
Right.
Nobody ran. Nobody expressed any interest in running for the board.
I think Carol and the bylaws committee is looking at the size of the church. We have 28 people who are members, and to have a 7-member board, probably your experience has been it's hard to fill those positions with working board members. When your membership is this size, you usually have a working board.
Correct.
So even if you don't want to say limit it down to 5 members, you can change that wording to say there shall be up to 7 members, including the pastor. And when we grow larger and have to add positions, then we don't have to come back and change the bylaws.
Change it.
right.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I like that.
You like that better?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Go
There
ahead.
has to be a minimum of 3, right, Marcia?
Right, yes.
So we
Legally,
are
three.
looking at is up to 3, no, up to 7, no less than 3.
Yeah.
True.
Including, and you still have including the pastor.
Correct.
Including the pastor. And the 3 is what, Marcia? The
The
clerk,
moderator, the clerk, and the treasurer.
that is the bare bones requirement by the state of Texas.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any more suggestions on that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Article 6E also refers to Board of Servants. The original text reads, terms of office for members shall be 2 years staggered terms. The proposed modification was terms of office for members will be 3 years staggered terms. Board of Servant members shall serve up to 2 years to 2 consecutive terms before taking a leave of 1 year or until the next congregational meeting before running again for Board of Servants election.
Rationale?
Burnout enables new people to run who didn't feel that they wanted to run against other people who had been on. But the biggest thing is burnout.
Now, are we supposed to be voting now?
No, it's for suggestions of changing verbiage and stuff like that.
Oh.
So what I'm reading here is that you're changing the terms of the actual, of their actual term. It's gonna be an additional 3-year term staggered over time. So you'll have one person rolling off each year. And then And then, or more, depending upon the number. And then the Board of Servants has a term limit of 2 terms.
Consecutive terms.
Before they take off a year.
Mhm.
The terms of office being 2 years instead of 3, correct?
So that would be 6 years.
3 years instead of 2.
Right, if we did this, it would be 3 years or a total of 6 years.
Mhm.
Take a year off and then you can run again. That's what we're
Yeah.
saying.
Right.
Right.
6 years, long time.
Question. Have you found that being as a newbie, being on the board, it took you about 1.5 years to figure out your way, to get your voice, to know what you're really supposed to do? Or you just knew that when you jumped into?
Well, being treasurer, it took me about 1.5 years to learn my position.
Mhm.
But I had no problem voicing my opinion.
And I've been here so long, I don't know.
Yeah. Normally, it takes a person about 1.5 years to figure out what they're supposed to do as a board member. And then it comes up that the term is up and they have to run again instead of actually working. And just continuing on. You can have continuity with having a longer term. And I think 3 years is definitely the max for a term. And then you could accomplish more. I've seen that happen.
I think it's also helpful if people who have been on the board for a while can mentor brand new members on the board.
Mhm.
With suggestions or dislikes, positives, anything like that?
I like it.
Frankly, he's like, I like it.
I like the 2 consecutive terms and then a year off. I think that's good.
Yeah.
That way a person doesn't feel like they're not being voted back in over and over and over and, you know, I like that.
It also, you know, I'll tell you, we did this at my church in California. Sometimes people don't feel like they have to run even if nobody else runs.
Correct.
I know people who served endlessly, like 12 years running, because they felt as though if they didn't run, nobody else would. And they just ended up just wiped out.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Yeah. No more comments? Nope, okay. 6H, little 3, refers to the role of the clerk on the board. And it was an addition that just said, the clerk is the official church historian. It was added on to the description of the job of the clerk. Is that okay for folks?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sandy?
Is that okay for you, Sandy?
Sandy,
Yes, ma'am.
that changes your
thinking-
position. Yeah.
I'm thinking I'd like to be the treasurer now and not the clerk. No.
Come
Actually-
January, let me know.
Actually, now that we have computers, being the clerk is a little easier. I'm thinking.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
unless you don't know how to take notes.
Unless you don't know how to take notes. Well, there is that. But what do you think about that, Sandy? Is that okay, Miss Sandy? Okay, she's nodding. All right. That also is what UFMCC says about the role of the clerk.
Mm.
So adding that in there was kind of a going along with the official UFMCC definition. Articles Article 7D1. This was going along with the numbers. It was about the Pastoral Search Committee. The original verbiage was Pastoral Search Committee shall consist of 9 members, including 6 members of the Board of Servants and 3 additional members elected at the Congregational Meeting. So the proposed modification, which we'll have to change again because we changed our modified verbiage earlier, the Pastoral Search Committee shall consist of 7 members, including 4 members of the Board of Servants and 3 additional members elected at the Congregational Meeting. So what do y'all think about that?
Question. About the electing them at the congregational meeting, what if the pastor decides to leave in February and there's not a congregational meeting until October?
You call a special meeting, call a special congregational meeting.
Yeah, you
Can
can
we
call
say
it.
then elected at a congregational meeting instead of the?
And
What y'all think?
Yeah,
Also, what if there are only 3 board members?
so,
3 board members.
yeah, so the Pastoral Search Committee shall consist of up to 7
Up to.
members.
Yep.
Including, and please understand, pastoral search committees are usually headed up by congregational members. And the board members are the board members are outnumbered, put it that way. That's the best way. So in this case, it would be 4 congregational people to 3 board members. Because you want that congregational input more when you search for a pastor of a church than the board having control over that pastoral search.
Run that by me again. Well, I'm thinking about it in terms of what UFMCC says. The
Okay.
bylaws that UFMCC
Is
says.
this what their bylaws say?
The ratio.
Yeah, they have more board members than congregational members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So more congregational members than board members.
Right.
Fellowship then?
Yeah, it's in keeping with the fellowship. Yeah.
So we have to do this at least right now. What about the up to?
Well, you can have up to
Well, that
7.
depends on the number of people in the church.
Consists of 7 members. Up to 7 members or 7
Yeah.
members, including 4.
That depends, how many people you
okay.
have depends on
I
how
see.
many members, depends on the number of members you have.
And they say to have more board members than congregational members.
Yeah.
Well, if you change that, that would be a verbiage to send to them, correct?
You know,
So if you could only get 5 people, 3 would have to be board members and 2 would have to be congregational members. I can see where they might think because the board is the supervisor of the pastor.
That's still a hassle.
Carol, are you looking it up?
I am.
Okay.
This is the last one.
Second to the last one.
And you also have one more where you have to add that congregational meetings can be in person or digital. That's the very first one that we're going to have to vote on.
There's so many pages in this thing. You think it'd be easy to do.
So the last one, the bylaws of July 2016, at the final. Look at this top. It should say Victoria, British Columbia. What it says, revised the General Conference, Victoria, British Columbia. Is that the last one you see? Is that the one you have?
Effective 2 July 19.
Yeah, they got some updates in 2019.
2 July 19.
Okay, so that's not this one. I'm gonna do a search for the word.
Okay. While they're looking at
For
Carol.
So that may be in an older one and not in this new one.
Carol?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, could you write down to add?
I found it. I found
Okay.
found it.
Okay.
Write down to add.
The virtual meeting, congregational meetings may be in person or virtually.
And we'll have to assign that a number. Congregational meeting.
Yeah, it's
Under Article 5.
wherever the church
It's Article 5. Yeah.
for a congregational meeting. So just add that we can do it.
It's Article 5 and probably 5A because that's time and place.
Okay. That'll work.
Okay, so you know what? The 2019 bylaws.
Yeah.
The newest ones.
Okay.
So that's selection and discipline of church local conflict resolution.
Article 7, 1D1. Oh no, it's Article 7D.
We'll just move on. I am moving on. Okay, and the second part of that,
Is Scotty on?
she is, she's looking for that one thing.
Is she muted on both of her devices?
Yeah, that's on me. I'm muted on both.
She's muted on both.
Okay.
And the other thing we added to that was to be in compliance with UFMCC, which was not addressed at all in our bylaws, was that no two members of a single household, committed relationship, or marriage shall serve together on administrative body or voting committee. For example, board of servants, pastoral search committee, like that. Questions?
Does that last part, should it go under pastoral search committee, or should it go in a generalized section about serving in the church? Because then you would have to put it up in the BOS section.
BOS spot as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's a conduct section. Should that be in conduct?
I don't think in conduct.
No.
It
There's
should
section
just,
about administrative bodies of the church there.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Now,
Okay. Is Scotty still looking for the pastoral search committee? Carol,
Yes.
is she still looking for it?
She's gonna read this newest one.
I
Yeah.
got it. Actually, what it says is church is going to decide those numbers. It says the affiliated church in consultation with UFMCC shall determine an appropriate structure and system for local church governance that's appropriate for the size of the church and cultural context. The local church structure and systems shall include provision for 1, selection and discipline of local church administrative body, and 2, pastoral search process, and 3, congregational meeting. So what you said, Pastor Marcia, is correct. If we wanted to have more one than another, we can choose that.
okay, so where did you find that in bylaws, Scotty?
That is going to be on page 5 of 16. It is,
That's the 2019 revised,
Gotcha.
Right.
the very last one.
it is
I got you. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
just so you know what that is, that's going to be under local churches, B. So that's Article 5, B, B2 under affiliated churches. Now I gotta find 5. You have 5?
No, you got all of it.
What's the next page? 5.
6.
Yep, that's 6. Mine disappeared. But it's page 5 of 16, the very top section.
Do you know how many copies of bylaws I have?
Probably a lot.
How many
Probably.
years?
It's page 5. It just totally went missing. Anyway, There you go.
Anyway, it's getting late.
Yeah.
And we still have to go over the financials. Jennifer.
Wait. We're talking about this. You're done? That's the last one. Okay.
Marcia, can I say one thing?
Yeah, who is that?
It's Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you to Carol and Mike and Mark, because I know that was probably a horrible, thankless job, and you guys did a great job at it. Thank you so much.
You really did.
Yeah.
Mike and Mark.
Yeah, said that at the beginning, and we're gonna say it again at the end. Because you can tell how confusing the bylaws can be.
Yeah.
All right, so Jennifer, Carol,
Yes.
stop sharing.
Oh, how do I stop sharing this? Oh, here we go. Hang on a second. There we go.
Wow.
All right, Jennifer, if you would share the financials and the proposed budget.
What do you want first?
The financials, January through September,
Okay.
the summary.
It was in there. I thought I brought that up. Hold on one second. Gotta minimize you guys. That's not what I wanted.
This is the whole thing. I just put the bank balance down there. Look how much office supplies was because of.
Okay. Okay. You see that?
Mhm.
Okay. I gotta move you guys. Why is that not letting me scroll down now? There we go. Oops, too far. There's your profit and loss from January to September. And if we scroll down,
Yeah, you want to go through the major categories first?
okay. This for the year, the total income that we've made is 37,571. Obviously, it comes from our tithing, is the majority of it. We have the Kenya fund. Looks like there's two deposit. Just made a deposit for the Clifford Fleck. That's why it looks like there's two in there. And then the special services and income is the interest earned. The expenses, these are just our basic overall expenses so far for the year, as far as extras. So it's not part of the normal maintenance. Here's our future just through the end of this year. the exterior, these are expenses on the search. This has nothing to do with salary. This was just extras that we spent on the search committee for the year. This is what we've paid MCC, the fellowship assessments, for the year so far, which is about 10% of what we brought in as a tithing. And then these are our physical expenses so far for the year, the physical and plant and water and all that fun stuff. Why is it going down? Okay. Why does it keep doing that? I don't know why it keeps. Okay, hold on. Okay, so it's the 9,400 is what it cost us so far to run the church, electric, gas, all that stuff. Then we have the salaries for this year. And the associate pastors, it actually has both Connie and Scotty in there because we added and we split. So there's that. And then, so that's the total salaries for the year. And then the rest are like dues, subscriptions, supplies that we've spent for the year. So we made 37 and we spent 45.
Jennifer, don't you have a footnote to that?
No.
My salary?
Yeah, well, we're still pulling, we saved $3,000 a month last year to go towards a future pastor's salary for 1 year while they were getting involved. So we've been pulling the salaries out of the savings accounts and put it pastoral search savings and putting it into for the salaries for Marcia for the year, because that's what the money was intended for. So that actually is not fixed into the net income for the year, because that's money that if we hadn't have it saved would have been money that would have been put out for the year, would have been spent.
Wouldn't that be in the budget for next year?
So does everybody understand that? Any questions?
So we would have spent $18,272 on a senior pastor salary, but because we had that money saved, that's where we pulled it from. That money would have come out of the general fund so that amount there would have been more, would have been higher.
Instead of having a net loss, we have a net profit for the year from January to September.
Because of the savings.
Right, because my salary, it does not reflect the transfer coming in from savings.
I'm not an accountant. I just print off the reports. So
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's the presentation, the way the QuickBooks is set up.
Yeah.
Because if you go up to the top line of income, we don't have transfers in of reserve.
Right.
That's the way it would be worded into the income, because that has already been counted in prior years.
Correct.
So usually you would put down at the bottom, you'd have to manually say transfer in from savings of 18,000. And then the realized net income or loss would show profit for the church instead of this loss. Any questions to Jennifer? Doesn't look like any. Okay, Jennifer. Let's go to the budget. Okay.
Excuse me, folks, I have another place I absolutely have to be, but Sparks is going to stay here and run the meeting.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Jennifer.
Bye. Thanks.
Okay.
So with the budget, we've cut corners as far as we could cut. We've adjusted for, being in quarantine. I think we raised we actually lowered the.
Somebody's got a dual on.
Yeah, because I can hear myself.
Yeah, we get feedback from somewhere.
I didn't get feedback from you, Marcia, if you wanted. Okay. Doesn't sound like it's doing it anymore.
Okay.
So we lowered the tithing because we found that was a little bit more than the average tithing per month. We got between, 3,000 to 4,000, leaning towards 4,000 every month was the average. So we tried to do it a little bit above that so that we could get a better idea of where we're going to stand. Were we looking at a conference next year? Because
No, conference, the church is required to send the pastor and the lay delegate to conference. And we need to start saving up for that now, which will be in 2022, held in Austin. So that's drivable.
yeah.
So if we started, the goal is to save up enough for the hotel, the conference charge, and travel and per diem.
Hopefully by then COVID will be over.
Yes, if not, that'll be virtual.
Yeah, pensions are went down, this quarter because we went from 32 to 28. So we projected that. And then this is all of our cleaning expenses and all that stuff because our electric bill has gone down substantially. that's a good thing. Same thing with the water. Water bill has gone down. We did not project for telephone and internet yet, but I guess we'll end up doing that at some point in the near future. But because we're really not there, we're not gonna, we haven't set that up yet.
I heard that this COVID thing's gonna last another year.
Well, hopefully though, it'll be to a point where we would at least be able to come up with something as far as meeting at the church occasionally. That's kind of what our goal is to eventually meet maybe once even once a month.
Even if it's outside.
Yeah.
Starting to get cold, I guess, but like Colleen she has a 9 o'clock service that meets outside.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking into all in-person stuff that we can possibly do.
Right.
And then we've got the salaries for next year. And then our dues and subscriptions for all of our different things. We have our music ministry, things like constant contact for our emails, our website providers, we go out and buy all the worship supplies, things like that. So that gives you an idea of what our projected budget is. And depending upon how our tithes and offerings does and fundraising, we're still short. But this was the most that we could possibly cut at this point in time.
And are you at the bottom of it
Yes.
to show how much we're short by?
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Yes.
Question for you, Jennifer. I know this budget is our proposed budget, but it doesn't take into consideration, or it does take into consideration. I mean, what would be the shortfall if we were looking at getting back together, say in, I'm going to just make up a number, say in May or maybe March? Are we figuring out, for the, like, maybe the rest of the year, which is what, that maybe this quarters 2, 3, and 4, we are going to be meeting back and our expenses are going to go up. We would hope our offerings would be as well, but if we could actually do a budget that's based on that, I mean, if we have more money, awesome, but I don't know how bare bones we're going with this, is why I ask.
This is pretty bare bones.
Yeah.
I thought.
Pretty
It's
bare
bare.
bones.
We don't even have anything on the bone. Very
How much is our HVAC, just for example, our heating, cooling,
It's
normally a month?
It's $31 a month, $32 a month.
No, how's it normally? What is it normally?
That is our heating. Yeah, those are the maintenance contract. I'm sorry.
That's the maintenance contract.
Those run about anywhere from $100 to $200 a month, and then in the summer it goes up to probably about $250. I don't think in the 2 years I've been doing it, I've ever seen a bill over $300 at all, ever. So, but that's every single week being there.
Okay, and you have budgeted right now for the year 2000 on line 30?
Yeah. Go down to building and facilities.
Yeah, line 30. So if you're talking.
Oh my
I didn't-
God, this thing's not working.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, so then the 2000, so you're talking, it could be anywhere from 2,400, that would be 2,000. Well, no, it'd be more than that, right? It'd be about 2,800 a year. It'd be
Probably.
2,800. Okay. So that could go
Possibly.
up. Okay. Well,
Water's pretty much the same.
Is it?
Yeah, because well, in the winter months we don't water, so it evens out pretty much. And we're still watering, so.
Well, I also recommend that we put in some kind of number for telephone and internet, since this is a projected budget. And if, just something to aspire to. We get it, we don't, we save it, we overspend it, the actuals will tell us that, but I'm wondering about, all I'm trying to do is set up our expectations for 2021, not based on the pandemic of 2020.
Yeah. I don't know if I can edit. So
we could say to the church,
we were looking at trying to get the basics of internet and cell phone for the church, and I think we came up with $120 a month.
Okay. So if we budget 6 months worth.
Oh, yeah.
So what?
Math people. 700.
And HVAC,
That's the service contract. So
that's the, okay.
electricity and gas, 2,800.
Yeah. Up that if we go. If we do that for 6 months, added 6 months, that'd be 32, right? 12 plus the 2 that you had in there. And the water will probably go up because people are gonna be using the restrooms.
We do like 900.
Yeah. And what about cleaning? At this point, we have people doing it, right? Instead of a service contract.
Correct.
But we have a lot of cleaning supplies already. So they're stockpiled. So maybe 450. Does anybody else see anything else that might have to go up?
I'm sorry, you might have answered this and I missed it, but does the dues and subscriptions, does that include the Share Faith?
No. No.
So
It does include the uptick in the CCLI license. That it's just 280 for the year. So or 230, I can't remember. And then any extra that does include the music, but it doesn't include this unless we're including that in there. And then in other words, no, Sandy.
So do we want to add in, make that under music, make that 800 instead.
Is that how much extra Share Faith is a year?
I believe so. Remember, we said either it's sent out to the board, either the 300 one-time payment
Oh, okay.
or $30 a month. And I'm telling you. Okay, now we're at a shortfall of 7,900.
The subscription for, I'm glad you mentioned that, Sandy. The subscription for, I guess it would be under on line 44, dues and subscriptions. For the Word and the Norton, for the pastors and
Yep,
the
'cause we just
churches
did that.
computers.
Yeah.
You did that? Okay.
No, it's not in there because it's something we just did.
Oh,
Is-
okay.
Is 385 a yearly subscription or one time?
No, it's a one-time. No, it's not even that. It was like, wait, well, for Norton is about, gosh, I'm gonna have to remember those exact numbers, but they're
Well,
both
I know that
about
the charge, I saw the charge.
99.
So is that a one-time charge for the year?
So for Norton, I believe the package that I got is $99 a year for all of it. For what we currently have in the Norton 360 Deluxe, which includes 5 devices. What we don't have with that is LifeLock, but we have all of the Norton stuff with that.
Okay,
The
that's special
subscription for
services.
Word. What?
Jennifer, is that special services where we have to have computer security?
No, I don't have any separate thing, but I would put it under office supplies. That's what I was gonna do, the Norton.
Okay,
I mean, right now. So
okay, so
until
you
I
have,
can get stuff broken down a little bit more.
okay. Or you do
We have a lot of general categories that I need to really break down with Tammy, so.
yeah. Dues and subscriptions, could it go there?
I would put it there.
Yeah.
I would put
For
it there.
computer
Maybe
dues.
maybe a subcategory of online dues and subscriptions. The only reason is that the thing about Microsoft Word is also an annual subscription.
Correct.
And what's that?
I believe the one we got, let's see, that's the one I'm struggling with trying to remember. I think it's 120. It updates all year long though, and plus there's 5 devices that could be used with that.
Is that $120 a year?
I believe so, yes.
You said it was $200 a year?
Like
120.
120.
Hold on, I gotta move you guys again.
So you're around, under dues and subscriptions, around 575. I just put 125 and 100.
Sorry, this Excel is different from mine at work, so. Oh, God, if I go up to the top. Right? Doesn't matter which one.
What you call leaning in.
So 225 a year? Is that what we're saying?
It's
Yeah.
$99.99 a year for what I got.
Yeah, so
225.
100 and then we'll just say 125.
Yeah, the other.
So
And
225.
then if we can get tech soup, I don't think the church belongs to tech soup. We might be able to get those numbers down for our technology.
We
Okay.
belong to TechSoup.
Oh,
Connie, didn't I send you that login stuff for TechSoup? You should have the passwords.
can't
You're muted.
Connie on mute.
I don't remember that. I will look though, Jennifer.
Okay,
We
I'm
might-
pretty sure I
may-
did that.
We
I'll-
might want
I'll
to see
look.
how much it costs through them.
I'll check
So
it.
Jennifer, I
Yeah.
confirmed the 365 that we got with Microsoft Office, and it's 99 a year.
Okay.
I'm here. Trying to get comfortable.
Oops, too far. Okay, here's our new tables. Does anybody else have anything?
Whew.
Should we do any rounding?
Yeah, I rounded up.
All right. So we're at 8,100.
Mm.
And we're basing it off of the tithing that, the average tithing and bumping it up a little bit. Now, if we can get our membership up and tithings up, then, we'll be in a lot better shape.
Mm-hmm. And if we start doing some different ministries that reach outside of our walls, we can always apply for grants. We have Grant Station now, which is a service that has God knows how many different grants. You can search it internationally, statewide, citywide, blah, 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 to help cover ministries outside of the church. So we can start tapping into people's passion, not just the passion of coming to worship, but the passion of doing something, putting feet to social justice outside of the church, putting feet to feeding the hungry, and doing some things in cooperation with others. So.
And we'll be doing special fundraising too throughout the year.
Right. We still have our, where's Sandy at? Our taco soup. Our taco.
For our flagpole.
Yeah. So anybody else has any comments or concerns about what they're looking at? Now's the time to voice it before we get into the meeting.
I'm good.
Okay. I gotta save this. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay. Trisha, Paula, Sandy, Lisa, Connie,
Good.
Frank, I got you. Scotty. Okay. Jennifer.
Yes.
How comfortable are you with this as doable?
Well, I mean, as long as, we stay frugal. I know that there, we budgeted for things that we want to do already, but I think we've probably reached a point that until we can start getting more money, we probably need to be raising money to spend whatever we want to spend in the future.
Right.
I think expenditures need to, monthly expenditures need to stop for me to feel comfortable with the budget, because we will by March run out of the savings that we have collected.
For the pastor. If we go, one of the things that churches and nonprofits can do, part of our budget can be sponsored.
Right.
If we can find sponsorships from people to sponsor things that we need. In addition to, I'm not talking about us just tapping into our membership and say, okay, y'all sponsor this month's utilities. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about going outside of who we are.
Yeah, I understand.
If you wanted to do like homeless bags again, or blessing bags, someone could say, okay, I'll give you $300 to go pick all the stuff and put it together.
Right.
That would be a sponsor. That way the church wouldn't have to pay for it.
Right.
Okay. How's everybody feeling?
Good.
You ready to go?
I feel far away.
That's okay. The Cowboys are losing, so I don't have to go.
Oh.
Tell us, we want to watch it.
Oh, sorry.
I do want to say one thing. Jennifer, you sound just like a really, really, really good treasurer. You're saying exactly what treasurers are supposed to say. Right on. Thank you for being that cautious spender that you're supposed to be, while the rest of us are going, but we need this and we need this and we need this.
Well, I've lived most of my life having to do that for myself.
Oh,
so,
right.
And I know it's like when we asked, people for donations for the homeless bags, and everybody stepped up. It was great, and everything, but we can't keep asking people who, a lot of our congregation is without jobs, or is on short salary, or is retired and on a fixed income. So we can't keep going to them to ask them to do. Now, I'm sure that they would, but I would rather have their support putting the bags together than to go out and spend their hard-earned money to do that. Because I want to see them participate more as well. So I like Trish's idea about getting sponsors for things like that.
What about, does anybody sew? Could someone make masks and sell the masks? That's a thought.
Don't look at me.
No, maybe. I don't sew.
Neither of us.
I don't sew, so. But that's the kind of thing that we have to think about. We have to think outside of our own walls, and continuing going to our congregation and saying, we need you to do this. Well, we need to tap into passions of people.
Yeah, so I thought that, if I remember right, doesn't Abby, not Sandy's Abby, but the other Abby, doesn't she make masks?
I don't know. I thought it was just t-shirts.
Oh, t-shirts. Okay.
Yeah. Abby was the middle person for a t-shirt company.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
You mean Amanda?
Surely has to have.
No, Abby and Amanda.
Yeah.
But Abby's the one that said for the t-shirts.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's great. So definitely send your suggestions in to the board, because they're the fiduciary body. Thank you all for staying so late. We have been talking for 2 hours.
Good work.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be much clearer for the congregation, I think. Too.
And we are still recording. So when we close out, Scotty, I'll stop the recording, and if you would put it up for people to view. Okay. Thank you all.
You pray us out?
Yeah, of course. Oh, in other words, stop talking and pray.
Yeah.
It just sounded like we were all gonna leave.
Motion to adjourn.
Let's get the heck out of Dodge, right? Let us pray. Most gracious one, the one who knows our coming in and our going out, our getting up and our lying down. I thank you for these people. I ask that you continually watch over them, protect them, and bless them. For they have hearts for service to you. And I know that you will show us the way. So as we leave this time together, be safe. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
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 And
Peace out.
Everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody. Okay. As they leave. Bye.
Bye-bye. Love you guys. See you later.
Bye-bye. All right. I'm stopping the recording.